Subscribe to The Honest Critique for current affairs, movie, book, and product reviews. Also, make sure you press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video. The views, information, or opinions expressed during the video series are solely those of the individuals and do not necessarily represent those of The Honest Critique and its employees. The following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers. Viewer discretion advised.
So, hello and welcome to a very special episode we're recording today. I'm joined by Alec and Danielle, who were supposed to get married this week, but a certain incident happened, then probably changed their life, and they had to help their own wedding guests to flee the country. So, thank you so much for taking your time and speaking to us. And could you share with us what exactly happened with your wedding plans?
Sure, and thanks for having us on the show. So Danielle and I were meant to get married October 12th, so this past Thursday. We had been planning the event for about 2 years since we were engaged, and both Danielle and I have family from all over the world. I'm originally from the United States, and Danielle, although she grew up here, does have her mother's family in Canada. And so we had guests coming to the wedding from all over. We had over 120 guests coming from abroad, 50 of whom were already in the country when the war broke out at 6:30 a.m. Israeli time on Saturday morning. I think for me personally, and then Danielle can share her experience, right when we saw the video of Hamas terrorists who had infiltrated Israeli territory, I knew that there was not going to be a wedding, and immediately sort of panicked with the responsibility of having 50 of our predominantly North American guests already in the country. And obviously the next few days ensued. We learned what we couldn't have even imagined, how awful the tragedies and the barbarism was, and the acts of terrorism from Hamas. And we've been working for the last week in order to get our families out of the country safely and on their way home.
Yeah, I think for me, it took a little longer to grasp what's going on, and I was holding a little bit of hope. So we woke up around 6 a.m. to the sound of sirens and bombs. And this is something that unfortunately isn't so unusual. So I was still holding the hope that this is something that would pass in a day or two. And then watching the news and slowly understanding that this is a much larger event than we're used to. And then also the stories starting to come in also from our immediate family and close friends, some that are being called in, some that were murdered, some that were missing, and understanding that this is not a time to celebrate, and it's a time to grieve. Yeah.
When was the time when actually you decided that, Israel has been a sort of a conflict since you have been here for a while? You've seen that the certain sense of security and stability that we see in North America, it's not very common in Israel, with a lot of barrage of rockets even coming last year as well. So when was the time that you realized that this is going to last longer and this is not the same as the other times?
This really feels and is a terror attack, and it's not a war between armies anymore. Like the invasion of Hamas into the villages in the south, the slaughtering, the rape, the murder, seeing the scenes in the party. This is not something that we're used to, and I think that's when we realized that it's much greater and will take longer to cope and deal with.
Yeah, just as I mentioned, seeing the images of that everyone has seen now of the terrorists in that white truck inside of, I believe it was Kibbutz Be'eri. Right at that moment, I knew that this was something at a much different level. Israelis, and especially Israelis that are living on the southern border, have been told over the course of the last 5-6 years that the border wall that Israel has built and invested billions of dollars into was impenetrable. And I think we all woke up to the reality that that is not the case. And right from there, we understood that this was a tragedy at a very different level. And I couldn't agree more with what Danielle said. This is the events on Saturday were not the beginning of a war. They have translated into war, but they were very direct terror attack on Israeli civilians. And this is, a tragedy beyond the comprehension of any human being.
And I wanted to now go a little bit actually to talk about, I've heard your interviews today, and I was really glad and surprised that how did you and your community responded to the situation. So could you share a little bit with our audience?
So, whenever there are conflicts in Israel, our loved ones from around the world contact us. They check up on us. Obviously, this was quite a different situation because we had so many of our loved ones in the country already. Despite that, we had people from all walks of life that contacted us and wanted to find a way to help. And so very quickly, Danielle and I made a decision that we would mourn the loss of our wedding. We got over this relatively quickly, officially canceling or delaying the event on Sunday morning and releasing our guests of the responsibility of being here in Israel and allowing them to make onward travel plans. And from there, we shifted our focus to trying to help, trying to play our role in supporting the war effort. And we've started to raise money. At this point, we've raised $23,000 just from hundreds of individual contributions from people all over the world that were inspired by our story, and obviously want to find a way to connect and help the IDF and those that are suffering on the ground.
The last thing that I wanted to ask you is, wedding is one of the days that everyone looks forward to in their life, actually. And how has your life been in the last 1 week, from looking forward to one of the most beautiful days of your life to having experienced one of the most gruesome attacks in Israel's history?
There you go. To be honest, I feel like I lost sense of time, and things suddenly come into proportion. So for me, the wedding, it kind of feels even surreal and not important. Like, obviously our relationship and our love and wanting to build a family, it doesn't need to have each other. And I feel like other things in life seem more important right now. And yeah, it comes into proportion.
Yeah, we feel lucky. We are safe. For the most part, our friends are safe. Unfortunately, we do have many people in our lives who have already passed, and more people are likely to die as the war continues, as hard as that is to say. And yeah, we planned this event. We dreamt about this event. And we will have this event. And as Danielle mentioned, we've never been stronger, the two of us together. And we're moving forward and doing what we can to support and put our own personal needs aside and contribute to the greater good.
Before I let you go, if someone would want to contribute to the crowdfunding that you are currently going through, how can anyone reach out and have a certain proportion of whatever they want to contribute?
Yeah, if anyone is interested in contributing, I'm collecting direct funds via a Venmo link, which is available in my Instagram account, or the direct Venmo link is Alec Birkin. If folks don't have Venmo and want to get in touch with me, they can do so via Instagram at Alec Birkin, or you can also feel free to write me an email at alecbirkin@gmail.com. And we appreciate your support. We will find a way to get your dollars involved and make sure that you feel like you are playing a very important role, which you are, in contributing dollars to this country, which is in such dire need currently.
Thank you so much, actually, for taking your time and speaking to us. I know it's a really difficult time to actually have the conversation, but I'm glad that you took out time and spoke to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thanks.